Alright, hello again everyone, and what we have for this review is a ball watch. This here is the ball from the Engineer Hydrocarbon series of watches, and this is the GMT that has been christened the Magnate. Model number in the description, I won't repeat it here, but this watch was originally, I think, had an MSRP of around 3,900 US. I'm not entirely sure, but you can get it for considerably cheaper, even right now through Amazon, of around 2,500. But I think we got it for even cheaper at a boutique that had a bit of a closing down sale in Kuala Lumpur. So we got a bit of a bargain on this. Now, Ball is a very interesting company, or rather a company with an interesting history. It was established in 1891, and if you can see on the dial there, it does have 1891. I'll just move that time out of the way while I speak about the company. It's an American company that is based in Switzerland, and the history behind the company is that it was established as part of the railway standard because of an accident, a tragic accident that led to fatalities with two trains colliding head-on as a result of timing failure at the time. Before railways connected the towns, there wasn't a great need for precise timing, but once we needed a railway timing and trying to figure out when the trains can cross at the designated crossings, timing became critical, which is when Ball was established. Ball was the surname of the official inspector of time at for the American railways back then. And now that I've got it out of the way, you can see it says official RR standard under the ball there, and it says since 1891. Now RR stands for railroad, which is the standard which was established back then. Now the original railroad standard is a bit archaic. It was pocket watches, and they describe white dials with black hands, had to have a 12 o'clock winding stem. They talk about lids and how they couldn't have lids for the railway standard. Now that's no longer applicable, but what was remarkable was they placed a standard of plus or minus 30 seconds accuracy per week, and that is remarkable for that long ago. Keep in mind that COSC standard is up to +6 a day, and that's in excess of 40 seconds a week if you're riding the limit there. And because of the stringent nature of the testing, it went on to inspire other bodies, including COSC itself. This movement is a ball caliber RR1201C. It's based on the ETA 2893-2, which is a fairly widely used caliber in brands such as Hamilton, Zinn, Steinhardt, even Panerai in my reading. This particular caliber, of course, is calibrated to COSC standard, and you can see at the bottom there it does say chronometer. It has 4 hands, the additional GMT hand in green in this version. It does hack for the second hand, quick set date with a display window, a magnifying window there, 21 jewel movement at 28,800 beats per minute, of course. It does have a manual wind option, 42-hour power reserve. So this case is and bracelet is completely in stainless steel with various brushed and polished surfaces. It is 40 millimeter in diameter and 12 millimeter thick, which is reasonable, and a very reasonable 20 mm lug width. But I think it actually wears larger, and I'll describe that later. It's got a screw-in case back with what I find is a very practical engraving, and you can see there it's got the different GMT time zones of various cities, very useful reference. And in the middle, what you have there is a ball watch, in a very nice engraving, approaching the Omega type of engraving and their case backs, which I really like. It's got a screw-in crown rated at 100-meter water resistance with this patented ball crown protection system, which they describe this amazing shock testing up to 7,500 Gs, which is seems pretty massive to me. It's got a black textured dial there with tritium gas tubes, which is what Ball is partly famous for. In this case, it's blue and yellow, yellow on the hands and then blue on the hour markings there. 28 gas tubes in total. And I won't do a lume shot here, but I'll put a lume photograph at the end of the video. Sapphire crystal, of course, and a steel GMT bezel, which sadly is non-rotating, but these numbers and markings are actually included with Luminova, which is a nice touch. Anti-magnetic as well with Ball watches, and this particular one is 4,800 amperes per meter resistant, meaning that it doesn't stop when you expose it to that, and it won't deviate by more than 30 seconds a day subsequently. Now the band is stainless steel, solid with this H-link pattern, screw links of course, and a very robust deployment clasp. That clasp is nearly as thick as the case itself. It's about 11 millimeters thick, and very robust, very solid pieces with extension on both ends, and ball bearings that fit in, which lead to, whilst this is very robust, it's a very pleasant fitting when you actually put it together. Now, what's I've enjoyed about this watch? Okay, so firstly, it's very robust, it's very solid. Ball's famous for its shock resistance and anti-magnetic type of designs. This, despite it being 40 millimeters, actually weighs larger than 40 millimeters. And partly that would be because of its crown protection system, which extends the size, and also because of how thick these lugs are. I mean, you won't, I'd be surprised if you can easily find lugs as solid as that on a case this small. It's not that heavy. It's about 175 grams, which is kind of moderately heavy. But I think it's partly the robustness of the lugs and the deployment that makes it weigh somewhat larger, and of course the extension of the size given by that crown guard there. I think it's got a fantastic case back, one of the nicest case backs around, and with a practical use. And I think it's got a great movement. This movement works a treat. It's got such a nice adjustment. It's got such a nice feel of the winding. It's got a great mechanism for adjusting that GMT hand, as I'm doing here, just by an hour each time as you flick across, and a quick set date as well. And I think it's got a very understated style. It's a very solid watch, but you can wear this to work, to formal settings, I think, and it kind of just gets you under there. I think it's quiet enough that it fits, yet it's a very tough watch. And of course, tritium. Tritium lume, Super Luminova will glow brighter than this if you expose it to sunlight and you take a photo immediately. But after half an hour, 45 minutes, this will outperform any Super Luminova. And I've done a watch lume video in comparison. Do check it out if you're interested. Now, what's the major weakness? I think is that bezel. It doesn't rotate. I think it makes a lot more sense for a GMT watch. If you have a bezel that can rotate, then you can immediately check time zones without having to change that GMT hand. So, I think that's a slight weakness here. And the other thing would be this bracelet. Whilst it has those little extensions, it doesn't have a micro adjustment. So I'm really, there's not much to pick on this watch. I think really performs as advertised, and it's, you know, it's a very functional, very good-looking GMT, apart from the weakness of that bezel. So there we have it. Hope that's been a good and informative look at a company that's not, you know, super well known, but it has a bit of a history linked to the railroads of America. Give us a like if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you again for watching this far, and we'll catch you guys next time.